I think if you really think about it, most of life is just trying to gain the ability to navigate the tension between paradoxes. What I mean by that is, like, as much as you want to have expectations, so like positive expectations for life, for how things will turn out, you also want to detach from those expectations. You don't want to think too much about that, because when things don't go your way, you're gonna feel some type of way, right? Because you had expectations, and those feelings are going to cause you to suffer. And the one thing that we're trying to run away from in life is suffering, right? But because at the end of the day, our minds are geared towards negative things. Like, um, whenever there's something negative, we ruminate on it. We start thinking about it more and more and more, and then it starts popping up more in reality, because that's what we pay attention to in our minds. And then whenever it pops up in reality, it just reinforces that negative mental image again, 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 and then we start seeing more and more negative things. So basically, like, what you need to do is focus on navigating the tension between these two things, right? Between, for one thing, um, immersing yourself, and for another thing, detaching from the outcome, which is it's a really critical thing to get right. Even I can't really say that I'm getting it right all the time, but I think the mere fact that I'm on the path of getting it right means I'm getting it right, because that's the whole point. You should just step on the path and just keep walking, right? Um, I'll give you another example. So, cold emails. I used to overthink them. Um, right now, not really that much, especially after sending out tons of DMs and just iterating of that, seeing how those turned out. They were really good. At the end of the day, right, you want to detach from it. You want to keep the outcome in mind. So you want to optimize for the outcome, but you also want to detach from it at the same time, right? You want to set up the perfect system that will run with or without you, but you, like, whenever that system doesn't give you the results that you actually want or would love to have, you're not gonna feel like shit and start changing everything, right? You understand. You have to navigate the tension between paradoxes. Um, I'll give you another example. People. So whenever you go into, like, whenever you get to know someone, and then maybe like you like them a lot, you have to let go of your expectation of who that person could become to you, or who they could be. Because at the end of the day, that's just a person with their own life experiences, and their own needs and wants and everything. And at the end of the day, you probably don't really know them either, because most people don't even know themselves. But like, that's another thing. I could say I know myself, but I just know whatever comes to mind at this moment. So that's not really everything that I am. And I feel like there's more that I don't know, that I don't know, which is it's the part that really freaks me out like the most. But basically, yeah, like, so as much as you have expectations for this person, like, uh, expectations that even you don't know, right? But these expectations are actually causing the attraction in the first place. Um, you have to detach from, like, these expectations as much as possible, because otherwise you will never see the person for who they are. And if you never see the person for who they are, when they start being themselves, which is different from the person that you're actually attracted to, you're gonna start, like, getting annoyed. So you have to navigate the tension. Um, Again, is really crucial. Like, I think the one thing is really, really, like, being able to both have expectations and detach from the outcome. It's like having those two things is so crucial. And I think most people exist in one state or the other. So, for one thing, I exist in uh, both states, I guess. I'm trying to exist in both states. But before, I used to be the type of person who was, like, trying to control everything. Because to an extent, I do rationally think that it is possible. I do think that as long as you understand enough of the world, there's no way you can't sort of change yourself or change your environment to become whatever you want it to be, just by putting in the right inputs. And to an extent, like, that kind of thinking is what led me in the right direction anyway. That's what led me towards changing myself. And then as the more I changed myself, the more my reality changed as well. But then I started hitting this blocker where it was like there's only so much you can change, um, and like until you start like reaching this point where it's just like you can't really like you realize you can't really change people too much because people will always just be people. And even you to an extent, like you could change yourself a lot, but there'll always like be these shadows that just pop up here and there, and like they'll pop up, and then how you deal with them at that moment will obviously determine the type of person you are. But they will pop up, and maybe I haven't handled them in the best way possible in the past. But again, this is a process. I am on the path, and I think that's the most important thing. Um, anyway, right? You have to learn to navigate the tension, and I feel like this is really crucial because like this is a concept that popped up to me when I was doing cold emails recently. So basically, there's like 5 steps to cold email. The first thing is to effectively just choose what you want to do. So pick your offer. So what that means is you have to look at yourself as a person, understand what you like doing, how you want to affect the world, how you want to impact the people you want to work with. Um, when I look at myself, I can't help but think how much I love solving problems. And that's like the one thing that really gets me going. Whenever there's like a really difficult problem, I just can't help but like lock in and just like try to solve something. Because I feel like there's always a way to just solve something. I don't really care how I do it, I just do it. And I manage to do it like every time. But that's not the point. Like, the point is understand who you are, understand the type of, and then understand your skill set as well. And then understand like how you want to solve people's problems. Right? So yeah, this could be anything depending on who you are. For me, it could be just like dealing with people's data, like bad data sets, cleaning them up, making sure that their systems are actually like uh, like if you thought of a business as a system that's like a living being, then it would be the equivalent of like cleaning up their veins, basically, just making sure that the blood flows properly to all the parts of their systems. That would be the type of work that I genuinely would be like very interested in. So I feel like it's very complex, and it would it would force me to integrate huge parts of their body of the business, and that's exactly where the fun actually starts. But um, this could be different for you. So once you figure out what you want to do, that is your offer. You just have to frame it in a certain way. But the way you frame it is going to depend on who you're actually targeting. So this is step number two. That is your ICP. So you have to figure out who you actually want to target, and this is obviously going to be based on your offer, right? So depending on who your offer affects most. So this could be like a CMO if you're doing marketing type related stuff, or it could be head of sales if you're doing sales related stuff. It just you have to target the right person. Once you know who those people are, that's when you go and you just go and scrape leads or whatever. Um, and again, like there used to be a time in history where people had to do this like manually, um, where they would just have to go to like some search bar somewhere, maybe in like LinkedIn or maybe on X or something, and then just type, some search query, and then they have to scroll through for like find really impressive people, and then just go into their profiles or whatever, look up information on them, literally type in some CRM database or whatever, and store all the information. But you don't have to do that, of course. I mean, there's all these different tools, and all of them have API integrations. So you can just like open up Anyden and then literally set up a simple workflow with like probably 7 nodes. You can get this done in 7 nodes, where you run an actor in Apify, and that actor is actually scraping leads from Apollo, and then those Apollo leads go straight into that actor. So that actor will start running, and then you'll have some loop that basically checks the status of that run that just started, and then you have an if node that basically says if the run status is completed, then continue, else just keep looping around. You're just going to be looping around, put a wait node there that will just basically wait every 10 seconds. Maybe you might want to actually look over the system because some actors run as long as you let them. So I had to learn this the hard way. I literally let an actor go for like a few minutes and it literally just went like $30, which is unnecessary because all you really need is maybe like 10,000 leads. That's all you really need. You don't really need anything more than that. But yeah, um, anyway, you just let the actor run for a few minutes. Keep track of it, of course, and then um, have a mechanism in place where it's like if there's a certain if it's a certain time or if you just complete it maybe it immediately moves on to the next, which is like the status is completed, where it'll store the leads in some kind of database like Airtable or whatever. And again, if you're storing leads in Airtable and you have a free plan, it probably won't work out. So you're probably going to have to get a subscription for that. The reason you might use Airtable is just because it's really clean and it has probably the best data visualization features that you'll find. Also, Google Sheets has some limitations, and in order to overcome those limitations, you still have to get a subscription. So yeah, just get something to store the leads and then just store them. It's very useful for you to store them for the next bit, which is where you enrich them. So you do some kind of automated research on them. Like you don't have to go through their profiles or their company profiles by hand, just typing out the information. There's literally you could scrape their website, store the links in the website, like the about page and everything. Scrape each one of those, feed the context into AI, and then have AI analyze them for data and understanding. Um, and then while you're doing that, right, you basically are not really relaxing at the end of the day, right? Because you're thinking about the angle you're going to approach this, and that's actually um, your the fourth step, which is to actually set up the campaign on some kind of on instantly or something. You want so like you understand who you're targeting, which is your ICP, your ideal customer profile, client profile. You understand your offer, you're going to set up an email sequence whereby it's going to be like the first message that basically tells them who you are, what you do, what you have to offer them, and then you're going to basically just offer them a call literally on that first email. And then you're going to also have like follow-up sequences that go out every few days, basically just to keep sort of poking the fire, I guess you would say, just to keep the fire alive. What a lot of cold email, what a lot of people don't understand is that you probably won't get a response in the first message. And I wish I knew this when I was starting, the cold sort of prospecting thing. I would just send out the first message, and then when I got no responses, I would just be like, damn, I guess I have to move on. You don't have to move on. Like you can just send another one and another one and another one. As long as they haven't told you to stop, you could send as many as you want to. Of course, a lot of people would give up, and this is like because it's a really demoralizing thing. It's like you keep telling them you have something to offer, but they're just not responding. It's really really demoralizing. But again, you don't have to do this yourself. If you set the system up right, you can have AI literally just feeding it with personalized emails again and again and again. And these are going to be sequence based as well. Like you can have a theme for every piece of the follow up. So follow up number two could be like a curiosity building type of thing. Follow up number three could be like a bold, you need me type of thing. Like follow up number four could be a totally different thing where it's just like you're being totally sincere. Like you could change these up and AI will literally just create everything for you as long as you set the system up right. And again, you want to set these up so that you allow yourself to do the strategic thinking. Like you want to be the orchestrator behind everything. You don't want to be in there in the trenches because, again, your mental bandwidth, your time, and your energy, they're all really, really valuable because you only have like this amount of it. You don't want to spend it in the trenches. You want to actually just overlook everything, and then whenever something pops out, like whenever you get a reply to an email or something, whenever there's something that actually needs your attention, that's when you step in. But you can let AI just handle the grunt work, and I think that's actually the most high leverage thing you should be doing. That's how I'm doing it as well. So you should definitely do the exact same thing. And so, like, just beyond this, I guess, um, you've set everything up right. It's good, and then you start running the campaign, and then emails start going out. Your work doesn't end there. You obviously have to iterate off the results. You have to just look at everything that you're doing, and then, like, as long as you, again, navigate the tension. So you started off with the expectation or the need for something to actually go well for you, and you will not get that perfectly, right? You Most of your emails will get ignored. Some of them will get opened and then just opened and nothing else will happen. Others will get opened and then someone will respond with a stop sending me a message, or please remove me from your email list. Those types of things, and you just have to deal with that like it's fine. Um, that's just like 90% of your emails will just go to shit, and that's just something you have to understand, right? At the end of the day, reality will always lag behind your vision. You will get more negative responses than you do positive responses. But again, it's all just about iterating off the initial message. As long as you understand who you are, how you are capable of helping them, and then you just keep sort of saying that again and again and again. There's no way uh, there isn't someone out there, as long as you're targeting perfectly, as long as you, okay, not perfectly, but as long as you understand who you're actually targeting and you understand how to set up your message. um, and this is where like you iterate, so you look at the results of the messages. If someone responds positively to a certain message structure, there must have been something good about that. Just create a similar one again. It's I won't say it's simple, but I will say that as much as you have expectations, you still have to detach from the results. What you need to do is focus more on what you can control, and those are the inputs. Those are what you can actually do at this moment right now, right? Understand that reality will just be reality. You can't control the actions of others. You can't control what they do with what you are doing. But what you can control is how you radiate out the impact that you have in the world through your own actions, through your own inputs into the universe. Um, and as long as you're sending out the right inputs, there's no way the universe will respond the right results. That's if you do it enough, because at the end of the day, everything is just a game of identity. So if you are the right person, the right results will come to you. If you're not getting the right results, it's just because you're not doing the right things. Because the right person who would get the right results from cold email would be sending out a ton of them, and they would be iterating from every single message just to see the right ones, and then they would be sending out even more based on those results. Anyway, um, you just have to navigate the tension. I think the concept goes beyond cold email, but I think it stood out to me because cold emails, like the name itself is like cold, but emails are like warm. You have to navigate the tension between the warmth of expectation and the coldness of just detachment. Um, that's basically it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you when I see you, which is probably next time.